You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
This is Chip Gilchrist, voice of the Kingston Frontenacs. You're listening to OHL Overtime, an in-depth interview show highlighting the players, coaches, and broadcasters from around the Ontario Hockey League who make the league so great, as well as in-person coverage of events such as the OHL Playoffs, OHL Championship Series, OHL Combine, and more, exclusively on the Armchair GM Sports Network. Here's your program host, Brandon Caputo.
And welcome into another Friday Night Faceoff preview right here on OHL Overtime and the Armchair GM Sports Network. Thank you to everybody that's tuned in on the video version on YouTube. You know what to do. Hit like, hit subscribe, smash that bell, and comment your thoughts on today's episode. And thank you to our loyal on-demand audio platform listeners. Make sure to give us a follow on X at Armchair GM Pod, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok by searching the Armchair GM Sports Network for all of our short reels and content. Back here to preview another Friday Night Faceoff matchup tomorrow night between the Saginaw Spirit visiting Brantford at the Civic Centre to take on the top-seeded Brantford Bulldogs. Again, that game will be available on Flow Hockey across the OHL's social media channels as well. A cross-conference matchup here. Two teams that can put the puck in the back of the net. You look at what the Saginaw Spirit have up front. It's very impressive for that young group that's continuing to build after going to that Memorial Cup just a few years ago and continuing to rebuild under head coach Chris Lagery, GM Dave Drinkle. And on the other side, the Brantford Bulldogs, you know, the contenders that they are this season with all the moves that Spencer Hyman's made with head coach Jay McKee and just a star-studded lineup from top to bottom for this top-seeded Brantford Bulldogs team in the Eastern Conference. These teams met back on November the 2nd for their other meeting this season. That was a 6-2 final in favor of the Brantford Bulldogs in Saginaw. So only two times these teams play each other this season, and Saginaw will look to gain some experience as they'll be going up against a team like this Brantford Bulldogs team, most likely in the Western Conference first-round playoffs, if they're going to be that 7th or 8th seed down the stretch here. As far as the standings go, they play tonight in Niagara against the Niagara Ice Dogs before going to Brantford on Friday, tomorrow night. And then as far as where they sit, 7 points up on the Sarnia Sting for the final playoff spot in the Western Conference. The Brantford Bulldogs, they hold a 1-point lead over the Barrie Colts for first place in the Eastern Conference and 5 points up on the Ottawa 67s for the East Division crown. So two teams that are breathing down their neck for that number one seed in the Eastern Conference and for that top seed overall in the Ontario Hockey League. Only the Kitchener Rangers at 92 points have more than the Brantford Bulldogs at this current moment. We're going to hear from players from both teams today. As always, we'll go across the bench. First, we're going to hear from Dima Zhilkin, the captain of the Saginaw Spirit, only a 17-year-old, late birthday, so he's got another year before he's draft eligible, 2027 draft eligible prospect. A great player at his age, mature for his age, you know, awarded the captaincy already and just continues to have a great season there with the Saginaw Spirit. And then we'll go across to the Brantford side of things and one of their newcomers, Charlie Paquette, guy. It's a 5th year in the Ontario Hockey League. He's a Dallas Stars draft pick as well, and a guy that was the Guelph Storm captain, a lot like teammate Jet Luchenko, also a former Guelph Storm captain. Both of them come over near the trade deadline, and a big acquisition for Brantford being able to bring in another captain like Charlie Paquette and continue to build on that strong leadership group that they have there in Brantford with so many different captains from their respective clubs before coming to Brantford. So really look forward to chatting with Charlie as well. We'll have a draft eligible player in 2027 and an overager in Charlie Paquette, who's been a great ambassador for the Ontario Hockey League. Had somewhat of an Ironman streak as well. The last 3 years coming into this season, played every single game in the Ontario Hockey League, all 68 games. in the regular season and traded to Brantford for one last dance here, have a chance at an OHL championship with a Guelph Storm team that is obviously looking to the future, hosting the Memorial Cup next season and, retaining futures in a deal to give Charlie Paquette and Jet Luchenko a chance to win in their final OHL season. So look forward to chatting to those two about this matchup. Again, Brantford 1-0 against Saginaw this season. That win coming back in November, so the teams might look a little bit different than what we had expected before. Again, Friday Night Faceoff ships to Brantford this week. The Bulldogs hosting the Saginaw Spirit in a cross-conference matchup with major implications for both teams in their respective conferences. Live coverage begins 7 p.m. on Flow Hockey's social media platforms. Brantford enters the night leading the East Division, as I mentioned. The Spirit feature one of the most dynamic rookie groups in the Canadian Hockey League this season. Draft-eligible forward Nikita Klepov leads the OHL in scoring with 85 points, 34 goals. The first-year forward trails Kamloops Blazers' J.P. Hurlbert by only 1 point for overall CHL rookie scoring lead. Fellow draft-eligible rookie Igor Barabanov also made a significant impact, sitting tied for fourth in the OHL in scoring. The Spirit are further powered by Dima Zhilkin, one of the 2027 draft-eligible players. As I mentioned, we'll talk to him shortly. On the blue line, Levi Harper leads all OHL rookie defensemen with 11 goals and 53 points. Harper ranks third overall amongst OHL defensemen in scoring. In goal, no netminder has made more saves in the OHL than Stefan Zhirkin of the Saginaw Spirit, reflecting the workload that he has carried while helping the Spirit maintain their playoff position. Brantford counters with one of the league's deepest offensive groups. Captain Jake O'Brien leads the Brantford Bulldogs in points. Draft-eligible Caleb Malhotra just behind him. And Chicago Blackhawks prospect Merrick Van Acker leads the OHL with 42 goals, providing consistent finishing ability on the back end. St. Louis Blues prospect Adam Juracek remains in the conversation for the Max Kaminsky Award with his 49 points from the blue line. In goal, Ryerson Leaders has delivered a strong season for the Bulldogs, carrying a 24-5-3-2 record as Brantford continues its pursuit of the league's overall record. Not to mention, David Igorov is also a very formidable goaltender for them, as well as a 1A, 1B punch. With Brantford chasing the top mark in the OHL and Saginaw working to secure its playoff position in the West, Friday's matchup brings together two teams with clear objectives as the regular season enters its final stretch. So we're going to take you to the interviews now with both gentlemen. We're going to start off with Saginaw Spirit captain Dima Zhilkin, and then we'll go across the bench to Brantford Bulldogs forward Charlie Paquette. Hopefully you guys will enjoy those interviews, and we'll get you to those chats right now. Friday Night Faceoff goes tomorrow night from Brantford. Saginaw Spirit are in town to face the Bulldogs. We're going across the bench as always, hearing from both sides for this upcoming matchup here. And starting off with us from the Saginaw Spirit, Captain Dima Zhilkin. Dima, appreciate you joining us today. And it's going to be an exciting one tomorrow night in Brantford. But, just the general thoughts on, where you guys are at as a team, trying to get that playoff positioning and things like that. Where do you think you're at personally and with the team and the home stretch of the regular season, I guess?
Yeah, it's an exciting time of the year towards the end. Nearing playoffs, and everyone's excited for playoffs, and games are getting more and more competitive every time we play. So I think the team morale is high, and I think we've been playing some good hockey.
Yeah, talk about a little bit about yourself. I know back when the Spirit were in the Memorial Cup and hosting that, you took that picture right after you were drafted, and it was one of those things where you looked like a really young 15-year-old at that time. Just being around that environment as a really young player coming into the league, just how much do you think that helped you being in that environment and being around a team that obviously went on to achieve great things and with a lot of great players that you got to be around as well?
Yeah, I think that whole experience, helped me so much. I think coming in right after the draft, we had our dev camp following the draft, and then the Memorial Cup was soon after. So I was fortunate enough to stay and skate with the team, and it was really cool. The guys are, much bigger at that time and much better than me. So yeah, it was really cool just seeing what they do every day and how tight they were as a team. I think that's the biggest thing I took away from that.
Yeah, for sure. And were there any players specifically that maybe helped you along, or that helped you, I guess, get engraved within that Spirit organization and that brotherhood? Like when you got in as a young player, I'm sure it's not the easiest thing to do, but was there anybody that made your transition a bit easier?
Yeah, there was tons of guys I think that were, it was like they were all great players, but they were even better people. So it's tough to pick out one guy, but carpool that I was driving with was Hunter Haight and Michael Misa. So That was a pretty cool car to be a part of, and yeah, they gave me lots of tips and as much as they could, so I'm really thankful.
Yeah, not bad. Michael Misa doing okay things, I guess you could say. Talk a little bit about him and being able to say that you've played with a guy like Michael Misa, and now he's gone on, to stay in the National Hockey League with the Sharks. Was a top two pick, most outstanding player in the league last year. Just how happy are you for a guy like that really you were around for a couple of years, and maybe you'll get to play against him someday in the NHL as well.
Yeah, Mike's a really good guy. It's everyone loves being around him on the team, and just super thankful to have him as a leader for me last year. With him giving that C after our former captain got traded away. But yeah, he's a great dude, and you see what he does on the ice is pretty special. So I look up to him, and I think he's a great role model for me.
Speaking of role models, just quickly on your brother Danny, up playing with the Manitoba Moose and the Winnipeg Jets organization, a couple years older than you, so I'm sure those battles growing up were fun. Going up against each other, mini sticks, road hockey, you name it, or even on the ice as well. Just how much has he kind of helped you through this process? And I know it's not going to be your draft year till next year, but how much do you sort of lean on him for advice, hockey and non-hockey related throughout the year?
Yeah, he's always been there for me. He's pretty much the main reason why I started to play hockey. Looking up to him ever since I was little, and started with shooting pucks in the garage, and then moving on to mini sticks. So um, it's always competitive in the household, but yeah, he always gives me tips and advice of what it's like at the next level. So I'm just beyond grateful and so happy to have him there for me.
We see all those hockey stories all the time of Sidney Crosby with the dryer that he had that he destroyed, shooting pucks at it. But do you and your brother have to maybe buy your parents a new garage door when it's all said and done?
Yeah, there was a few holes in there for sure. Um, but yeah, we had in our old house, we actually had a mini stick room just for us. So lots of battles going on there, and we'd have his teammates over all the time. So it was a blast.
I'm jealous of that. I was a big mini stick guy growing up. I'm in my 30s now, but I remember like getting like the legitimate nets and the legitimate sticks. It was like the best days ever, and a lot of
Yeah.
great battles. That sounds amazing. A mini stick room. I'm very jealous of that. Going on a little bit further about you, Dima, you talked about being named the captain of the Spirit and taking on more of a leadership role now. You're in your second year, but you have that late birthday as well. So you're still, a younger player in the league. So how much pride do you take in being, a captain at this point in your career?
Yeah, it's a huge honor. Like I said, I had two great captains before me last year, and we had a ton of leaders on this team going into this year, and a few of them got traded away. So I think that role shifted a little bit, but just beyond excited and grateful for this opportunity.
What do you think's been the biggest jump for you from year one to year two? You had a solid season as a 16-year-old last year. 43 points, but this year over 30 goals and over 65 points. Just what do you think's been the biggest, I guess, jump in your game from year one to year two?
I think the biggest thing for me was just confidence. Obviously there's the little things getting bigger and stronger in the off season. I think that's also helped me a bunch. But I think playing more calm with the puck and really possessing the puck, I think that's where I strive the most in my game.
Yeah, absolutely. Was there a certain player you looked up to growing up that you wanted to model your game after? A favorite team that you enjoyed watching?
Don't really have a favorite team. I just love watching hockey. But if I had to pick one player, I'd probably pick Mitch Marner. I think I've looked up to him for a few years now, and just the plays he makes under pressure, it's special. I think he's really poised with the puck, and he sees the ice like no one else.
Yeah. Speaking of some players on your team, Dima, from the captain's perspective, I know a lot of people are high on Barabanov and Klepov, and they've been obviously incredible this season for your group. But as the leader, that you see them on and off the ice all the time. Who are some of the guys that the fans should look out for from the Spirit that you think are really putting in the work to take a big step?
Yeah, there's I think there's tons of guys that have improved so much just from the start of the year, but I think one guy that surprised us all was Brody Papoy. He came into the camp as a free agent invite, and he wasn't sure if he was going to sign here or not. He actually told me he's supposed to play in the null. So just super excited for the kid, and he's awesome. Like he works so hard in the gym, and he wants to get better. He's a competitor in practice all the time. So just happy to see him doing well.
And being one of the franchises in Michigan based in the Ontario Hockey League. Like, how much have you enjoyed being over there in Michigan? And, with the new NCAA and CHL agreement, there's going to be a lot more players from that state being able to come and play in the Ontario Hockey League. Like, from your perspective, how much have you enjoyed playing in the state of Michigan while still being in the OHL? And B, how much have you enjoyed seeing the influx of extra players come into the league this year?
Yeah, I think it's good opportunity for the teams to improve as a whole, and as well as the players. It gives them that opportunity to take the jump to NCAA and whatnot. But for for us playing Michigan's pretty cool. Not many people can say that in OHL, and I personally love it. I love being in the States, and I think the food's a little bit better here. So we got some pretty good spots here in Saginaw.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk about that rivalry with Flint. You guys play each other so much, and just right up the highway there. Just how much do you get up for those games, and how much do those maybe feel like sort of a college football atmosphere that maybe you'd get in Michigan?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think every time we play them, we have an even bigger crowd because it's so close. So the opposing fans always travel here, and our fans do a good job of showing up there. So um, it's always tough playing there. And last year, I think we had an easier road against them, but this year was pretty tough. And they're a good team this year. They've loaded up, but it's no excuse for us. I think every game we come in there with a great attitude and hope we can win, but hasn't been going our way. But yeah, it's super fun.
I know Saginaw got on the map there for that Memorial Cup, but have you sort of seen, an elevation and in the, I guess, the support of the team, A, and B, just the buzz around the organizations over the last couple of years, and sort of the impact that winning that Memorial Cup has made the last few seasons, just for the general, I guess, buzz around the Spirit organization and hockey in general in that area?
Yeah, for sure. I think it made a major impact with the Memorial Cup being here, and you always see buses around with Spirit logos on them and billboards. So it's pretty cool, and yeah, our fans have been showing up for us, and we love playing for them. We love getting them on their feet. So it's been really fun for us too.
Your GM Dave Drinkle in an interview. This is a quote. This isn't something that I just made up. He said the best way to describe you is a competitive little prick. And Chris Lazary, your head coach, says he described you as a rat sometimes in a jokingly way. How much do you take pride in being a hard player to play against and a competitor on the ice, even though you might be friends with those guys, off the ice, and you can joke around about it, but on the ice, just doing whatever it takes.
Yeah, I personally love it. I think that's another step that I took going to this year. I'm not afraid to get into those dirty areas, and I love competing in practice. I love pushing my teammates. I think it's a really big part of really coming together and growing as a whole. But yeah, I really take pride in my game, and yeah, it's lots of fun.
And you're that late birthday. So when you started in the league, you were still 15 years old until late October there. Just speak about maybe having that extra year before your draft year. Like, obviously you're eager to be drafted and things like that. But, maybe what are some of the positives that come from being able to have that extra year before you're draft eligible in 2027?
No, I think it's definitely awesome. Like you said, it's an extra year to develop, and um, fortunately enough for me, my brother went through the same thing. So just talking to him about that, and what he did to be successful, and um, yeah, it's nice to have under my belt another year. So I'm excited for the future.
Was there any other sports or anything that you enjoyed doing other than hockey, maybe in the off season, or just to get away from the rink and the pressures that come with being a professional hockey player?
I used to play soccer a little bit as a kid. I always loved watching soccer. Growing up in Russia, and that was a big sport there. But even now, playing sewer before games, it's lots of fun. And just in the off season, even playing it on the beach or in the park, it's really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk about your brother making his NHL debut earlier this year. How exciting was that? Just to see that and be the proud little brother, I guess.
Yeah, just so happy for him. You see that video of him in the barbershop getting that call. That was pretty special and cool to see. He just teared up in that moment. But yeah, just super happy for him. I think he deserves everything. He's been working towards his goal for, basically his whole life. So I think I'm just so happy for him, and just happy for our parents too, because they made so many sacrifices for us, and seeing some of that pay off is truly special.
Absolutely, and I'm sure your moments coming in the very near future as well, Dima. quickly just on that matchup tomorrow night up in Brantford. You know, everybody knows where they are in the standings in the East, and a team that's obviously loaded up and wanting to go for it. But you played them earlier this season, didn't go the way you wanted to, but you know, playing against a top team like this, how much does maybe it prepare you for a type of team that you're going to face in the first round in either maybe the 1 or 2 seed that it looks like you guys are projected to play against right now in that first round matchup?
Yeah, I think it's a good challenge for a group. We haven't had the most success against them over the past few years, but it's another game, and we know what we have to do to win. And like you said, playing against a good team, there's less room for error. But yeah, I think it'll be a good challenge for a group. For preparing us further for the first round matchup.
I know you enjoy playing at the Dow, but is there a certain away rink that you really, enjoy going to and playing in?
I'd say my top three are Guelph and Kitchener, just because my brother spent so much time there, and I did too, just watching him play hundreds of games there. So, coming back there, it's pretty special, and it just makes you realize how much time flies. But another one that I really like playing in is Erie. It's probably kind of a weird one, but I like just the open layout. It makes you feel like you have so much room on the ice, and yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, they got some raucous fans there, and maybe two of those three American teams always going at it is a fun time down there at the EIA. Captain of the Saginaw Spirit, Dima Zhilkin. Dima, really appreciate you taking the time. Look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow night in Brantford for Friday Night Faceoff. Best of luck down the stretch here, and look forward to seeing you continue to progress here as a player and as a captain for your club.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Fourth Wall is the official merchandise supplier of the Armchair GM Sports Network. Our user-friendly site is print to order with no minimum items or inventory needed, shipped right to your doorstep safely and efficiently from their North American warehouse. All of our logos are available to supporters, listeners, and viewers can have the best variety available to them for their swag preferences. All items are priced as low as possible, allowing everybody who wants to support our business with the opportunity to do so, receiving quality and comfortable products in return. Shop today at fourthwall.com with a direct link to our Armchair merch store in the description of all episodes and in the bio of all of our social media accounts. Become an Armchair GM today with Fourth Wall.
Hi, this is Mike Stubbs, radio voice of the London Knights. You are listening to Brandon Caputo on OHL Overtime.
Back in another Friday Night Faceoff going tomorrow night from the TD Civic Centre in Brantford. Pleased to be joined now on the Bulldog side of things, going across the bench with Charlie Paquette, one of the newer Brantford Bulldogs. Charlie, appreciate you coming on today. Just quickly touch on what you think that matchup tomorrow night against the Spirit will mean for your club, and just continuing to try to rack up points here as you try to get into playoff shape.
Obviously, every game's big leading into the playoffs, and I think our mindset is just start playing playoff hockey right now. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, for sure. And talk about, since you've come to Brantford, how much does it sort of feel like home now for you? I know you spent so much time in Guelph. You wore that jersey with a lot of pride with the C on it, knowing that there's exciting long-term goals for this group this year.
Yeah, coming here knowing having the opportunity to win was pretty good feeling. The boys have made it a super easy transition for me. I was a little nervous walking in on the first day, but they've made it super easy. It definitely feels like home now.
Yeah, you talk about some of those guys' familiarity. Obviously, Jet Luchenko spent a lot of time with you in Guelph, and then when you came there, he was obviously there. So how much did you lean on him through that transition and that process, and being able to have one of your best friends come over with you?
Yeah, it helps so much. I'm actually living with him too, so he kind of helped me mesh in with the boys a little bit and get to know everyone my first few days, and yeah, it definitely helped a lot.
How much did you learn from him as far as a leader, because he was the captain of the Storm and then you became captain of that club for a little bit? Just how much Jet Luchenko sort of helped you develop as a player and as a leader?
Tons. Obviously, I was fortunate enough to play with him for a while, and I got to kind of learn how to play with someone with that much skill and that much talent, and that helped my game on the ice and off the ice. He definitely helped me a lot, just seeing how he interacted with the guys in the room and kind of took control of the room and stuff. So
Yeah, so you've played 21 games up there in Brantford right now, and you sort of had what they would call an Ironman streak in the OHL up until unfortunately you missed that game against Guelph. But you've played 3 consecutive 68 game seasons in the OHL. How much pride do you take in that and playing every single game, and what do you think has led to the success of you having so much longevity and being able to be available and stay healthy, stay on the ice?
I think a big thing for me is just taking care of my body and playing a physical game like I do. It's pretty important to be able to stay in the lineup every night. But no, it's something I take pride in, being able to help my team out every night. I don't like missing games. It's like you said, something I take pride in. So.
Is there something off the ice that you do to kind of get you in that in game shape, or the preparation before games, after games? Like, is there anything that you like to do to keep your body, in game shape?
Yeah, just stretching. I'm a pretty simple guy. A little bit of stretching, just eating right, all that stuff. It's all the cliches that come to mind for staying healthy. But yeah.
And talk about a little bit about your dad. Andy played in the OHL from 85 to 89 with the Sudbury Wolves, played for a couple other teams as well in other leagues. How much has he meant to your hockey career? And just as far as looking back on some maybe his time in the OHL, how much does he enjoy having another Paquette name continue on here in the O?
Well, I think he loves it. He just loves watching me play and gets behind the 2 teams I've been on. So, but no, he got me into hockey, and he's someone I can always talk to or just joke around with, and I think he lives it through me, just with how I tell him stories and what happens. But he just loves watching me and my team play.
Yeah, you talk about growing up in the Essex area. Was hockey always the thing for you? Was there something else you enjoyed playing or enjoyed doing away from the rink, or was hockey always just the number one thing?
Hockey was always, it was my first love. I played lacrosse. I played all the sports growing up: baseball, lacrosse, soccer. But when I turned like 14, I decided I was really going to focus on hockey. And as of right now, it's worked out for me, but we'll see in the future.
Yeah, what do you do off the ice to sort of recharge and just get your mind off of hockey sometimes?
Spend as much time possible with my teammates. Pretty much with them every day. And when I wake up till when I go to bed. So when we're at the rink, it's all business. But other than that, just screwing around pretty much.
How would you rate your sewer game, and who on the team is like the best sewer player for the Bulldogs?
My sewer game, I think it's pretty good. I've improved a lot since I first came into the league, that's for sure. But I would say the guy that wins the most games is probably Ryerson Leanders, but he gives zero effort, so I don't want to give him any credit.
Those goalies, they're a different breed, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
You were a former Windsor Junior Spitfire, being in that Essex area. I guess how cool would it be if you got there to be able to play against Windsor in the OHL finals, sort of a rematch? The Bulldogs played the Spitfires just a few years ago, but for you personally, how exciting would that be, coming full circle to play against sort of your hometown team?
Yeah, it'd be awesome. Brantford would have their own little fan club there if that was the case. But no, I haven't really looked that far. I'm just kind of worried about the next game, and when it comes to that first series, second series, and we'll see who we match up with if we get that far. So.
For sure. And talk about how important it is for you to get into those playoff games, because you mentioned, you want to go deep and things like that. You've only been able to get through 6, 5, and 4 games in your 3 years in the league and in the playoffs. So how much are you just chomping at the bit to get into the second, third, fourth round of the playoffs and really experience and really, take your game to another level where, you might think that you might excel when it comes to those playoff type atmospheres?
Yeah, no, I'm super excited. I feel like playoffs is my game. I'm excited to see what I can do in there and go on a deep run. It's something I think everybody always wants to do, and I think this is a team that we have a really good opportunity to do that with. So.
And for you, I mean, you've been, a top scorer with the Storm, 37 goals last year, 70 points here with it combined with the Storm and the Bulldogs here, 27 goals, 60 points on the season. With so much talent on a team like this, like how important is it to know that you don't sort of have to be that catalyst offensively every single night, and that you've got, 2 or 3 lines that could be number 1 lines on most teams, and just being able to have that cohesion and sort of view it as maybe one of those international type teams where you've got so much top end skill on the same team and everybody sort of has to buy into a certain role.
Yeah, no, it's awesome knowing that we have 12 guys up front and 6 guys in the back that can put the puck in the back of the net. It kind of takes a weight off of not only me, but everybody. It's every night, it could be a different line chipping in on the scoring and a different line chipping in defensively, checking, whatever it is. It's a really good mix we have here, and I don't think anyone is in one specific role. I think we all just play the right way.
And speaking where you guys are right now, the top team in the Eastern Conference, but you've got Barrie breathing down your neck for that number 1 seed, and also Ottawa within the division. Sort of when you're the team that's being hunted down, how much preparation it goes into it, because you know that every single night those teams are going to come in with their best because they want to take down the best. So how do you guys sort of keep that consistency and that expectation at 100% every single night when you know that the other teams are trying to knock you off that pedestal?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just we're talking about it in the room, just staying hungry. We want to finish first. That's our goal right now. And, leading up into these games, it's every point matters because we want to have home ice in the playoffs no matter what happens. So, no, it's just a lot of preparation, whether it's practice in the gym, before games. It's what everyone's talking about, is just kind of staying hungry.
And your head coach, Jay McKee, called you a natural born leader. Very kind words there from Cheese. But what's it been like having Jay McKee as your head coach, 1, and 2, is there a certain Jay McKee, funny story you can give us?
I don't know if I've been here long enough to have a funny story yet. But being under him coaching all of us, it's pretty special. Obviously, he has a track record that speaks for itself, and just being able to learn from him every day, how he composes himself and just how he talks to us and everything about the game. It's been pretty special.
And as we see in your backdrop, you're there at the Civic Centre. It's an iconic, smaller rink comparatively to most OHL markets in the league. Just how much do you enjoy playing in a small barn like that? And when the Madhouse gets rocking there, when it's a sold out building and a rowdy crowd, just how much have you enjoyed playing there at the TD Civic Centre?
Yeah, it's been awesome. The fans they're crazy, but that's what I love about it. It feels like you got, instead of all the guys on the bench, you got another 3,000 people behind it too. So it's a pretty special place.
I know you missed that game against Guelph, and that was, something that was really important to you. But how much did it mean to have some of those fans come up from Guelph and be there at that game? Met up with them after the game. Took a picture with them. Just how much did that mean that those Storm fans are still following you no matter what jersey you've got on?
Yeah, it's awesome. Just knowing you have some support from a team that you're no longer on, and knowing people want to see you do well, it means a lot. And it's just good to know that I had a positive impact while I was there. It's definitely a special place to play, and I've been very fortunate with the 2 places I've ended up. I love it.
And just speak of the Hymans really quick, because you've only been there for a little bit here, Charlie, but put all the chips in this season, and they've given you guys all the resources to do great things. Just speak of what that ownership group under Spencer, Zach, and what it means to be a part of that with these guys that are so hungry to make a big impact here in their first, I guess, full season as Ontario Hockey League owners.
Yeah, they've been unbelievable. They treat us like gold here. No one can complain about that, and it's nice to see ownership and management, and they want to win just as bad as the players do, and I think that's what we need, and I think that'll help us moving along the season here.
So my last question for you, Charlie, is who did you sort of grow up looking up to at the National Hockey League level, and maybe now not so much a favorite team anymore, but what were sort of your favorite hockey memories or teams growing up?
Yeah, growing up, I loved the Detroit Red Wings, being right across the border from them. They had that long playoff run, and or that streak of being in the playoffs. It was pretty exciting times. But my favorite player always growing up, when I really started to watch the NHL, was Tom Wilson. He does a little bit of everything, and that's always kind of who I tried to model my game after.
How cool was it to see him on the Canada Olympic team this season?
Yeah, it was awesome. He definitely deserved it, that's for sure.
Okay, my last question. Are you a fan of Windsor Pizza, and what is your favorite Windsor Pizza spot?
Oh, I love Windsor Pizza. Shredded pepperoni's the best. No, I like Antonino's. That's probably the first one that comes to mind. They're all good though. There's too many come to mind. That's the first one that came to mind.
That's okay. There's a big debate on which Windsor pizza place is the best, but I've heard from multiple players now that Antonino's is the spot. So
Yeah.
I got to check it out when I'm down there.
Yeah.
Charlie Paquette, forward of the Brantford Bulldogs. Charlie, really appreciate you taking the time today. Best of luck tomorrow against the Saginaw Spirit, and best of luck down the stretch as you guys look to do big things come the OHL playoff time.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
There were the chats with Saginaw Spirit captain Dima Zhilkin and alternate captain of the Brantford Bulldogs, Charlie Paquette. Great insight from both those gentlemen about this upcoming game tomorrow, their outlook going into the playoffs, and sort of what they're looking for within themselves and a little bit off the ice as well. Always like to get a little bit to know a little bit of the players, their personalities off the ice as well. Obviously, both of them, grew up wanting to be professional hockey players, but in Zhilkin's case, played some soccer. In Paquette's place, played some lacrosse. They enjoy multi-sports, as we've seen with other players that we've had on the show earlier this season. Brooks Rogowski comes to mind with his baseball background. It was just great to hear some of the players' backgrounds and their families and what the other stuff that they enjoy doing as well, other than being on the ice playing hockey. So that's going to do it for this Friday Night Faceoff preview episode. Again, make sure to check this game out on Flow Hockey. It'll be streaming live on their social media platforms as well as through the Ontario Hockey League. And then catch us for our post-game after hours on X Spaces. That will be live following the spotlight game between the Saginaw Spirit and the Brantford Bulldogs. We'll have two guests on as well, media correspondents to help talk me through that night, that game specifically. And we'll wrap up another busy night in the Ontario Hockey League, as always, on a Friday night throughout the league as we reach the home stretch, final few weeks here of the Ontario Hockey League regular season and gearing up for the playoff push here. I guess we can call it March Madness, our March Madness comparatively in hockey to what it is on the basketball side of things. But thank you to everybody that tuned in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the interviews and got some insight on those players specifically. Thank you to Dima Zhilkin of the Saginaw Spirit organization, and Charlie Paquette and the Brantford Bulldogs organization for being able to coordinate these interviews ahead of time and be able to get this out to you the Thursday, the day before Friday Night Faceoff. Appreciate their cooperation, and as always, the Ontario Hockey League's cooperation in this project for us as well. That's going to do it for this episode of OHL Overtime right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network. Make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, smash that bell, and comment your thoughts on today's episode on the YouTube version. And thank you to those that listened on your favorite on-demand audio podcast platform. As always, you can give us a follow on X at Armchair GM Pod, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok by searching the Armchair GM Sports Network. Until next time, my name is Brandon Caputo, the host of the program. Enjoy Friday Night Faceoff tomorrow night between the Saginaw Spirit and the Brantford Bulldogs, and the rest of the games on the Ontario Hockey League slate on a busy Friday night, as always. So until next time, this has been another weekly preview for Friday Night Faceoff right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network. Have a good night, everybody. You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.